Just want to welcome everyone to the Stacy A. Cross podcast show. Whether you're listening now or later, it is always the perfect time. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name. Are you a comfort killer? Where are my comfort killers? Let's go. Good evening, good morning, good night. Whenever you are listening, it is always the perfect time. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name. I've been dispensing indestructible energy since 1981, and my mission in life is to teach millions how to get uncomfortable, to think better, act better, and live better. It's another day, another beautiful Thursday at noon here, and you're listening to the Stacy A. Cross podcast show. Matter of fact, you could lead me on everything using my handle, Stacy A. Cross, on Snappy Chatty, on Instagrammy, on Facebook. I would love for you to join us in on the Facebook group. You could just type in thecomfortkillers.com there. And there's some links in the show notes for today. And today is all about statistics. Where do you fit in? Before we get into that, I just want to let you know I'll be going to San Diego. Beautiful San Diego. Never been there before. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I'm excited just to get off the plane and feel the San Diego breeze. They tell me about that breeze all the time, so I cannot wait. Headed to San Diego next month to interview, guess who? Billie Jean. Billie Jean is marketing. That's huge news because when entrepreneurs want to know how to effectively have an advertisement campaign. Facebook, YouTube, Google, which one's better? Instagram, how do you get your message out there? See, the thing with Billie Jean is that he is 100% focused on paid advertisement. He's like, man, organic, you could eat my ass. I'm sorry. But he goes off of Facebook. He's like, I'm going to go where the customers are. I'm going to pay for my customers and then focus on the ROI. So the cheaper I could get my customers, the cheaper I could get attention, and then have that good product, a valuable product for them to purchase. So Billie Jean tells us all about it. I'm headed to San Diego to sit with Billie Jean. But I had to come better than that. I had to figure out a way to make it dynamic. Because in my past interviews, I brought the camera, brought the team, and we recorded, and we had an amazing time, and we went on Facebook Live. It was rah, rah, rah. But now I'm like, I need it to be dynamic. I need people to find the value during this interview live, and how could I do that? Other than just going Facebook Live, we needed to get some skin in the game, and the skin in the game is through the webinar. And in the webinar, it's a free webinar, okay? So in the webinar, you could ask your question only to those 100 people that I'm going to have in the webinar, and the seats are going amazingly quick right now. They're out of here. So make sure after, or maybe pause this and go into the show notes, click that link, and register for the webinar. It's free. It's going to be an experience. It's November 15th, promptly at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Pacific, and then 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm leaving Philadelphia. I'm headed to San Diego, and we're going to sit with Billie Jean is marketing. Sit with Billie Jean and learn from him and actually get down with marketing, because it's a scary field, just like self-improvement. If you want to be a part of our Q&A session, send your questions to hello@thecomfortkillers.com. hello@thecomfortkillers.com, or just jump inside the Facebook group every Sunday at 10 a.m. People can't even wake up for this. Every Sunday morning at 10 a.m., PD Sunday. PD stands for personal development. We jump in a mastermind, Theo and I, Thelonious C. Jones and I, and we get busy and we start just talking. We just talk about business. We talk about entrepreneurship. We even talk about our health. We talk about the successes, failures, missteps that we had the previous week and what we intend to do next week. And you are a part of that inside the Facebook group on the mastermind every Sunday at 10 a.m. But we want your questions. Send us in your questions early so we can make sure that we have the answer for you. The Comfort Killers Academy is the last thing we're going to talk about. Comfort Killers Academy. Start at level 0. Focus on your mindset. Focus on self-improvement, personal development. If you're just afraid, man. I was afraid when I was walking inside the casino, spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, putting it inside the pockets of big casino owners, and never coming out with anything of my own other than depression and freaking crushed and anger, and I didn't have food because I decided to spend my food money inside the casino. So, what are you going to do here? So living a fearful life and a scared life is never the way to go. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to make decisions for your progress. You got to invest in yourself, and we'll show you the right way. It's not dumb data. It's real data, and you could just get that at the Comfort Killers Academy. The Comfort Killers Academy is $37 a month right now. Starting at level 0, change the mindset, reprogram, do what's necessary, take the right steps to create a successful life, and sooner than later, you're going to know that you're already successful. All you needed to have was a push in the right direction and the right information. That's all. So today, let's get into today. Look at that. I invested 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the intro. Today, I just want to jump in and say it's a glorious day, and you are listening to this for the right reason. Maybe there's just one little nugget that you needed, and you could shut it off and get the hell out of here and go use that to change the world, right? So hopefully the nugget you're going to find within the statistics of this podcast. Why statistics? Because, man, case studies have happened, and I'm here. Instead of just looking all over the internet, I'm going to bring it all to you. And the reason I said this, because I did a snap. This whole podcast came from one snap, one 10-second snap, where I said, if you read and finish, if you have the discipline to read books, all right, and finish them, you're sharper than 80%. 80% of America. 80%. Because there's only 20% of people that actually do it. And then within the 20%, there's some more research and data. But just by finishing a book, just by finishing one book, you are sharper than 80% of Americans. Isn't that crazy? So finish the book. So we're going to get into some facts and statistics. We're going to talk about some health. We are going to talk about stats for entrepreneurs, which is going to be amazing. We're going to talk about your attention span, and how many books people actually read. So this is going to be some valuable data for you to take away and say, you know what? If I could just do this one thing, I am in the top bracket of America. I'm in the top bracket of humans. I'm in the top bracket of people, because this is where these stats are coming from. We're going to give you the reports, and all this information will be inside the show notes. You can read up on it later if you want more information. The biggest thing is attention span right now. As you know, social media has came in. The attention span has dropped significantly because there's so much to do on your phone. I looked inside the airport. It's so funny. When people are waiting for their flights, you can actually see everyone's on their phone. Everyone is on their phone. And what are they doing? Their little thumbs are moving up, moving down. They're scrolling. And that's why it's important to jump on the webinar with Billie Jean I'm going to have next month, because we can see how to make a video or how to make an ad that's attention grabbing. Because if you're not attention grabbing right now and you're in business, it's crazy. You're going to get scrolled upon. All right, so the average attention span in 2015 was 8.25 minutes? What do you think? Minutes? The average attention span in 2015 is 8.25 seconds. Okay? So 8 seconds, 8.25, 8.25 seconds. So let's actually have 8 seconds span out right now. Boom. 8 seconds just passed. Someone just left your ad. Someone just stopped reading. Someone stopped doing what they were doing to look at their phone. Someone just that short amount of time. It's crazy. This entire statistic this was derived from National Center of biotechnology information, the U.S. National Library of Medicine. Okay, so that's where I got this from. So just so you know, this has been cited. So the average attention span in 2015, 8.25 seconds, crazy. Average attention span in 2000, though, in the year 2000, just the turn of the millennial, is 12 seconds. The average attention span of a goldfish, just in retrospect, is 9 seconds. So the goldfish could hold their attention more than the average person can. That's freaking amazing. You tap the glass of the goldfish bowl, and they're moving. They're like, oh, gotta go. That's exactly how you are when you're living a life on a daily basis. Now, after each of these statistics, we're going to talk about how we could get more attention and focused on doing something. That's why we can't finish something. We start something, 8 seconds, we stop it. Why can't we hold our attention? Well, look at society now. Everything is instant gratification. Everything is quick. Everything is fast. Everything is easy. That's why they're telling you entrepreneurship is easy. They're telling you self-improvement is easy. They said you could change your life in a day. They said you could change your life. I believe, in fact, you can change your life in a minute. I believe that. You could change your life in 8 seconds because all you really need is something to turn you. But to stay consistent over time in that process may take a little energy and focus and maybe a little bit of willpower. The percentage of people who forgot their own birthdays from time to time, this is crazy. What the hell? What? Yo, it's my birthday today? 7%. 7%. The average number of times per hour an office worker checks their inbox. Listen to this. The average number of times per hour is 30. So 30 times per hour someone goes and checks their email, the average office worker. Now, focus on the word that I'm saying, average, okay? And then we can focus on how to be not average, how to be super, how to put yourself in a different bracket. The average length watched of a single internet video. What do you think that is? The average length watch of a single internet video. In this report, the data is 2.7 minutes. I'm sure that has shortened. I'm starting to make a minute videos on Instagram because I am geared up. When we're talking about focusing on, I want to focus on the super average, right? And they're not average. But you gotta be up with the times. Man, people are not watching your 45-minute videos anymore. They can't. They don't have the time. They got the kids, they got the phone, they got school, they got work, they got to get dressed, they got the baby shower, they got, all these things going on. And here you are pouring your 45-minute session in their face. So how do you attention grab? Again, jump on that free webinar we have with Billie Jean because we're going to talk about this. How do you gain some attention around a world and a society that only got an average attention span of 8 seconds? How do you do that? So in case you have a business and you're worried about your internet, you're worried about your website and these page views, and that's what a lot of the SEOs and ads bring back. How many people clicked through and went to this web page? How many people stood on this page? How much words in the article did they read? You're starting to gain. These are all statistics that you could use to help you either build a better skill set to gain more attention, because this world, I'm telling you, we're losing attention by the years. Pretty soon it's going to be 3 seconds and we're walking around worse than goldfish in a universe, right? Percent of page views that last less than 4 seconds is 17%. These are all from page views. This is taken from 59,573 page views. Okay? Percentage of page views that lasted more than 10 minutes, very low, of course, 4% out of the 59,500. So I'm like, hey, what do those 4% got? Okay? Percentage of words read on a web page within 111 words or less, 49%. Okay? Percentage of words read on an average 593 words web page, 28%. These numbers are still kind of good. just looking at it. Now, the source of this is not quite the average, an empirical study of web use that's taken from that, so you could check that out. But it's an old article. It's done in 2008. Of course, that's 9 years ago. So, you know where we are now. Those numbers dropped significantly. So how do you either, put yourself out there to get more attention, or work on yourself and discipline to have it in more attention for yourself? Now, how could you be focused? I just purchased a book. Let me see if I could figure it out. Because I think time management is, that's one of those studies that is like the Pandora's box, right? You open that and you're like, shh. I read somewhere that Elon Musk bills his days in his calendar in 5-minute blocks. 5-minute blocks. That's crazy. Imagine making your calendar in 5-minute blocks. Like, how freaking anal, OCD are you, and respecting your time are you? Because we don't have attention anymore. But once you make yourself focus, like right now, I have to do this podcast. I blocked out an hour for this podcast. What if I don't finish in an hour? What does that tell me? What do I do? Do I carry that over into the next hour? No, because I have something else in the next hour. I have a great resource that's going to be in the show notes to help you out when you're talking about time management for a busy entrepreneur, time management for the quote unquote average person. But the intention here is, you know what? I'm going to shut every goddamn thing off. And it's not this live though. I'm doing a live in the background. I'm going to shut everything off and I'm going to focus 100% on this task. This task is at hand is so important to me that I'm going to give myself that. And what you do is you create discipline around respecting your own time and respecting your attention, because now you have to train your brain, because society says, hey, listen, go check your email, go check your phone. The phone's ringing. There's a cool meme someone just posted. Someone just shot you a text and you're going to be easily goldfished and looked and sidetracked. Now, the discipline comes when you could say, you know what, I'm going to give myself 30 minutes on this project and I'm not going to move off. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Yeah, the shit may not work the first time you try to do it, but you must create that discipline around the schedule that you set out for yourself. And discipline to me is power. I read a book where Stuart Wild said, to enhance his discipline, at 7:01 a.m. every day, he walked into the garden and moved rocks. And you're looking at it like, what the hell? Yeah, he moved rocks for 15 minutes. He moved rocks from one side of the garden to the next side of the garden. And you're going to say, well, what the hell does moving rocks do for discipline? He did it every day for 7 days at 7:01 a.m. That did hella for discipline. Because no matter the rain, sleet, snow, cold, you're going to be out there at 7:01 every day getting stoned. So it's all about living and building this discipline behind your action. Because honestly, if you develop the discipline, you are sharper than 80%. You are sharper than the average folk that you walk past. And that's what it's about. Because not everyone is doing this. So if you could build the discipline, then you're immediately more valuable than the next person next to you. Because that next person is average in the 80%. In the 80 percentile. The next thing we're going to talk about is book reading. And I have some stats on that. Before we get into that, though, this is from Pew Research. This is where all these stats are from, and it will be in the show notes. Let me just get right to the point here. The average is the mean. The average American read 12 books in the past 12 months. This is the entire thing. The average American read 12 books in the past 12 months, and now we're going to go with the average of that. Among all American adults ages 18 and older, including non-readers, the average and median, which is the midpoint, number read in whole or in part by each group. So we're going to talk about males, females, white, black, Hispanic, 18 to 29, 30. So we're going to talk about generations, high school grad, if they got some college, in college, and their actual income. And let's see if we could identify something here. So this is by a 12 book, 12 books in the past 12 months. Let's see. So the average of all total adults 18 plus, this is Pew Research. This is March 17th, April 12th, 2015. So not too long ago, a couple years ago. The median is the midpoint, right? So of all males that took this survey, and all females, males said they read 3 books in the past 12 months. Females, 5. Below 30,000 income, 2 books they read. Below 30,000 income per year, 2 books. 75,000 plus, 6 books. They read 6 books. Let's say ages 18 to 29, 4 books. 4 books. The average woman read 14 books in the past 12 months. Okay, that's the mean. I'm sorry, the average is the mean. The average woman read 14 books in the past 12 months compared with the 9 books read by the average man. A statistically significant difference. The median number of books read by women was 5 compared with the median of 3 for men, which was not statistically significant. Those with higher levels of education were more likely to have read multiple books than those with high school diplomas or less. The typical college graduate or someone with an advanced degree read an average of 17 books in the previous year, compared with 9 for high school grads and 3 for those who did not graduate high school. Where are you if you didn't graduate high school? The survey data, let's talk about this. The survey data, and we're talking about ebooks, we're talking about print, read. So let's go into that, what people are reading. Data indicates there has been little change in the share of adults consuming ebooks or audiobooks. The new survey shows that 20% of Americans read an ebook in the past 12 months, up from 17% in 2011. But that figure is statistically similar to the size of the ebook reader population captured in the Pew Research survey in 2014. Audiobook consumption has remained stable, with 12% of Americans saying they listen to a book that way. Me personally, I read the book and capture the audiobook. 7 in 10 American adults have read a book within the past year, whether in whole or in part and in any format. So the figure has fallen. Before it was 79% said they read at least 1 book. Maybe they didn't even finish it, but they read it. So 79% says yes in 2011, but now that dropped to 72%. Which is the most recent survey, which is 7 and 10%. So let's talk about the 7 and 10%. What does that tell me? 70%. So that means 30% of people are reading more books than the average. How many books do you read a month? How many books do you read a year? Me personally, I think I'm up to, I have it on my board over here. I read about 4 books a month. And I really started that heavily within. I'm not going to take the shine and said I did that in my whole life, because I just didn't. I couldn't even finish a book in 2015, much less read 2. So 4 books a month, you're looking at 48 books. 48 books in a year. That's a lot of books. And a lot of them I go through audiobooks. So, again, don't get it twisted. I'm not going to sit here and just and say, yeah, I read 50 books a year. It really isn't that. Because I listen to a lot of it during commute, get time out of time. So why this stat? Why did I want to bring it to you? I wanted us to make a connection with the amount of income someone is bringing in with the amount of books that they're actually reading. So the lower the income, obviously, and I'm not going to be too mean here, but I want to say this does have a crazy correlation with the amount of income someone is bringing in. Me personally, I read somewhere that a billionaire or a millionaire reads a lot. So that's why I started reading. I said, oh shit, this is what I got to do. Because if I'm going to model or duplicate something, I want to model someone that's actually doing it. And what they're doing, if they're reading, shit, give me their book list. What are they reading? I guess they're not reading any fiction. They're not over there jumping on a broom with Harry Potter. They're reading the real deal. So I started getting a lot of success books. And right now I have tons, a whole bookshelf, stuff that I haven't even read yet. It's just there, and I'm going to get to that soon. And the fastest thing that I said is, man, look at all this consciousness and this beauty and someone that done it, and they have been able to write these words and leave it for me. That's awesome. That's a mentor. So I look at books a little differently. I look at books in a spiritual way. I don't just get a book and I know someone's on this live right now that hates highlighting in books. I rip a book to shreds. I'm writing in it. I'm highlighting it because it's my book. I remember giving a book, The Think and Grow Rich. That's why I don't have a copy anymore. Think and Grow Rich. I gave it to my cousin, and I don't even know where that book is. I asked him if he read it. He has not read it. So what the discipline here is to say, if you don't want to be average, don't do what the average does. Whether you're getting below 30K, whether you're up in the 75K or way more in the 150, maybe you're in the 6 figures, don't do what the average is doing. And I'm giving you a lot of stats of the average because if we continue to do what they do, we're going to get average results. And that's why I wanted to bring this to you. If they're reading, let's say, a book a year, why don't you up yours and let's say read 5 to 10 books a year? You are automatically better than the average, sharper than the average, doing more than the average, and you're not going to get average results. But it's what you're feeding your minds with. So I'm going to have also in the show notes my top 10 book list. If you don't know where to go, my top 10 book list. Let's talk about physical activity. This morning, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to the gym, man. I didn't want to walk downstairs. It's right in my building. Damn, Stacy. I didn't want to go. I put on my planner that I'm going every day this week. Usually, they say, 3 days good enough, 30 minutes, but I want to go ham. When I do something, I just want to make sure it's consistent because what I'm doing is engraving discipline. I'm not doing it because it just, I hate it. I really do. I don't like it, but I want to create so much discipline that doesn't matter. I just get up and do it. And I don't really need to say, do I need to do this? And that's why I do things. So just go through the hurt, go through the pain the first few months, and you don't really know anymore. And I look at runners, and I see them outside, and they're running. I'm like, shit, how did they get the energy, right? How do they just get, some of them, they created a discipline that they just get up, they just have to run. It's like breathing. The discipline is just like breathing. So you want to get into health consciousness, create disciplines. I think this is what this show will be about, other than the stats, is creating these disciplines so that you're not even thinking about it anymore. You pick up a book, you're reading the book. You finish the book, you implement the things from the book. You read another book. It's not a chore anymore. When you first start out, it may be a chore. It may hurt. I used to get up to take cold showers just to wake my ass up because I got up at 4 a.m, man. It hurt. So I said, you know what? Instead of getting up at 4 a.m, complaining, let me take a cold ass shower, complain about that. After that, it was just a discipline. It was nothing. It was nothing to get up at 4 a.m. So physical activity. Listen to this. Less than 5% of adults participate in 30 minutes of physical activity each day. Less than 5%. Less than 5%. There's 7 freaking point something billion people in this world. Less than 5%, of course, this is probably from an American study, of adults participated in 30 minutes of physical activity each day. Only 1 in 3 adults received the recommended amount of physical activity each week. So let's see what the, I think this one is from, let me give you the stat place that I took this from. This is the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This is the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition surveys taken. Less than 5% of adults participate in 30 minutes of physical activity each week. Only 35 to 44% of adults 75 years or older are physically active. When I think of that, I think of my grandma. You know? Only 35 to 44%. If you're talking about the generation that percentage, I believe it's the civic generation? And 28 to 34% of adults ages 65 to 74 are physically active. More than 80% of adults do not meet the guidelines for both aerobic and muscle strengthening activities. And more than 80% of adolescents do not do enough aerobic physical activity to meet the guidelines for youth because, guess what? We're on our phone. Children now spend more than 7.5 hours a day in front of a goddamn screen. 7.5 hours. I'd like to see when they created this. They did the survey. Wow. This was last reviewed in 2017. So this is fresh. This is January in 2017. So this is fresh data right here. Nearly 1/3 of high school students play video or computer games for 3 or more hours on an average school day. 28% of Americans, or 80.2 million people, aged 6 and older are physically inactive. This is the 80-20 rule all day. 80.2 million people, 28% of Americans are physically inactive. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm just looking at this. I'm like, shit. So my thing is, we just want to do better than the average. Right? And we know what physical exercise can do for us. Me personally, it's a spiritual thing again, because I'm able to draw out some creativity during exercise. So I'll push myself. For the 5 days, I did a 9-mile walk every day for 5 days. 9 miles took me about 3 hours. My inner thighs were chafed up. I looked like Freddy Krueger. My inner thighs looked like Freddy Krueger, pretty much. Where the skin is just away from, it looked bad, okay? Because I did 9 miles, I had to push myself again, creating discipline. I didn't want to be average. I gotta step my game up. And what that did for me spiritually was enhance my awareness, enhance my clarity. Like after those 5 days, I got out more clear. I was like, oh wow, this is what I got to focus on. This is what I'm going to do. And I just built my entire freaking schedule for the next 3 months based off of those 9 miles I walked every day and the creativity that I just kept spewing. Mind you, my health just enhanced. So it's not about just, the baseline, 30 minutes, 3 days a week. Could you push yourself to do every day, just a quick hour? The other day I decided to say, okay, the 80-20 rule, what's 20% of my day? And a 24-hour day, how many hours is that? And it came up to about 5 hours. So if you can't give yourself 5 hours, I'm not talking about the job. I'm not talking about the family. I'm not talking about anything else that doesn't have to do with just you. If you're in developing you, if you can't give yourself 5 hours out of the day, damn, man, that's a real rat race. When you can't just say, you know what, I'm gonna just be. I'm gonna take care of myself, my mind, my body. okay? My health, my spiritual, my being. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to give me time. And I think, that's where I'm like, I'm focused on that now. 24 hours in a day. You already gave 8 hours, really 10 hours to the 9 to 5 because you got to get dressed, you got to get up, whatever, right? So how do you pull that time out? How do you even pull 2 hours out? That just involves getting up a little earlier. That involves, hey, listen, being dedicated and being disciplined to say, you know what, this is my time. And I'm going to be able to focus on me and have this task at hand. Whether that time is taking a cool freaking shower or a bubble bath. Give that time to you. Spread those 5 hours out throughout the day and make sure you're giving yourself time. Because the 20% of what you do for you and building your spiritual awareness, building your consciousness and your discipline, it defeats the 80%. All right, so let's move on. And this one is for my entrepreneurs, and this will be the final segment of today. 15 entrepreneurship statistics that you should know. And this is going to be powerful for those entrepreneurs that are listening. 15 entrepreneurship statistics that you should know. And I needed to know this. I'm only going to give you about 5 of them because we're going to discuss each one. But you can find the entire list again inside the show notes of this podcast. And this is the Statistic Podcast. Before we get into this final segment, as you know, lead me everywhere, snappy, chatty, all of thatty. At Stacy A. Cross, we have the Credit Repair Mastermind. We did that. If you're interested in learning how and getting the right information and education on credit repair and leveraging and expanding and actually utilizing your credit to benefit you, your family, your business, and your future, that's also in the show notes. It's a link. We had a mastermind, and once you click in there, you're going to get more information from us on how to actually repair your credit if that's what you need to do, or leverage your credit. Also, big news again, Billie Jean. That information is in the show notes. Sign up, register. It's going to be a powerful interview / webinar. I just interviewed a amazing videographer, which I just reminded, I got to send some links to him now. He's out in Jersey. He's going to be on the team. So that's going to be crazy. We're going to get more content for you guys. And of course, the Comfort Killers Academy at $37 a month right now. Check out academy.thecomfortkillers.com, academy.thecomfortkillers.com. And if this information has helped you in any way, or if you know it's going to help someone else, please go ahead and share it. Don't be afraid. Just go ahead and share it. Put it in their email. Send a link to them. Put it on Twitter. Put it in your Facebook. And just get the word out there. As you know, you can find me always on stacyacross.com. But you have other sources. If you're listening to this on iTunes, go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Stitcher, do the same. Leave me a review. Be honest. Let me know what you feel about this, and we could get there. So thank you for listening. We're just rolling up on our final segment, and this is some entrepreneurial statistics. Some things shocked the hell out of me too. So this is good information for all of us. Which country offers the best environment to cultivate entrepreneurs? What do you think? What country offers the best environment to cultivate entrepreneurs? The other day, I put the American flag, and I was like, man, I'm so happy to be in America. I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to be in America. This is the number one place where you could go start from zero and get to where you need to be. Opportunities are endless. It doesn't have to be this negative thing. It doesn't have to be about the president all the time. It doesn't have to be about how we're failing. I mean, it's still just the best place to develop your entrepreneurial spirit. Anywhere from, crossing the gold rush, walking. Look at Strauss. Who's Strauss? Levi. Coming here and just building it. I mean, just a lot of success stories here in America. You just come here and make it. Okay, so the United States provides the best environment to cultivate entrepreneurship, ranking first out of 138 countries. Still the best place on earth. And that's according to Global Entrepreneurship and Development Index. So the GEDI index 2017, that was the report. So that's fairly new, still number one, and I believe it 100%. I'm proud to live here, proud to be here. I was not born here, but I am a citizen, and I just love America. So that's number one right there. So let's go down to another statistic here. Like I said, I want to do about 5 of that. What are the reasons why businesses fail? Entrepreneurs, listen to this in case you're starting up. Remember, it's doing the opposite of the average. Okay, so here's 46% of businesses fail due to incompetence. Incompetent. 30% due to the lack of that word's gonna kill me right there because I'm from Jamaica. Now you're gonna know. Love America, got this accent, okay? Managerial experience. So they're not good managers. I wish they would outsource that. So think about yourself when it comes to this. There's a lot of incompetence. There's no experience there. 11% due to the lack of experience. And the rest were attributed to fraud, natural disasters, and neglect. Okay? That's from the Indiana Small Business Development Center. 46% of businesses fail due to incompetence. So what could you do? You could either outsource that if you're incompetent in an area. Let's say accounting. You need, the number one reason people start businesses is to count the money. Okay, so if you're not an accountant, don't got the figures behind you, you gotta start hiring, you gotta start outsourcing things, you gotta get things in order early. Know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are, so you could outsource your weaknesses. Know and understand them. I'm not saying just give away the bank like MC Hammer. What I am saying is understand your weaknesses, learn the baseline of it, and get someone else to do it. Get people in place that can help you succeed. If you're not a good manager, maybe hire a brand or a company manager. I have one. All right, that's number 2. How do entrepreneurs fund their business? In case you want to know, this is what it is. 80% of entrepreneurs use their own money to fund their businesses. The remaining 20% receive money from family, bank, or investors. I don't know about your family. I couldn't go to mine. I went, actually, funny story. I sent my family all envelopes in my last business, Preferred Classics, family and close family friends. And I wrote them this whole thing, because I read it somewhere. Send your family an envelope and give them all this stuff and give them all the information about your business. And they're going to give you money. And I sent these things, and I actually mailed it. So I lost money too. I mailed it to each of their homes, and I had this whole thing, and I wrote up these whole letters, and it was beautiful. And they opened it, and I didn't get one red fucking cent from them. And I don't blame them. It just wasn't the way that, you know what it is? And I don't even blame them, because they probably said, Stacy, you done tried so many things. You done failed. You done stopped. You done started. So I wasn't giving. I bet if I do that now, it's a different story. I bet I should try that. I should actually try that and document it and say, you know what? I'm going to get, let's say 10 grand from my family. Let's say 20. Put up the bar. 20 grand from my family, sending out this and calling them back and following up and saying, hey, listen, I need an investment from you. But 20% of entrepreneurs receive money from family, banks, or investors. You don't hear a lot of people going to the banks anymore. They're not walking in there, but because 80% of entrepreneurs are using their money, they're bootstrapping, they're funding themselves, they're self-funding. So, where do you fall right there? All right, let's move on to the next. This is the 4th one. What % of entrepreneurs founded their own business? And 83.1% founded their own business, 11.3% purchased, 2.8% inherited. I wish I was in the Gary V line. The 2.8 inherited the business. And 4.4% transfer of ownership or a gift. That's a sweet gift. That's from the United States Census Bureau of 2016. 83.1% founded their own business. That's that, where it says self-made. They had a dream. I don't know where you stand. You want to buy a business? Because a lot of people are purchasing a business. Don't mean anything is wrong with it. I don't know if you watched the interview with or listened to the interview with me and Gordon Bazar. Gordon Bazar is a firm believer that, hey, listen, I'm going to buy up these companies. They get to a certain point and they can't grow anymore. Their skill set has been depleted. They're done. They get to the point, maybe they're selling supplements or something. That's it for them. They get to a point, they've racked up some good amount of money, and they market it to death. But now the next skill set involves board of directors, involved expanding, and they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to lose their niche and, the passion of starting a business and getting it to that point. They don't want to grow it. They don't want the 2 or 3 factories. They don't want to deal with with investors. They don't want to go to what do they call that? C rounds. They don't, so they sell. And then you have other people that will buy that and expand their business even greater than they would themselves. But they're okay with that because they earned their money and they got a little cherry on top. And now they could go start another company, maybe in the same industry or niche, or maybe they just go out and enjoy the rest of their money. So it's not a bad thing to even look at businesses to purchase. Maybe you can. Maybe you want a business that's already up, it's notable, it's known, and you don't want to have to deal with, hey, I got to get attention, I got to bootstrap, I got to go market the hell out of this business. Maybe you want to just buy in a business that's already established. So this one's going to be a good one. What % of entrepreneurs hold at least a bachelor's degree? Let's say all entrepreneurs, how many you think holds a bachelor's degree? Very low here, less than 50%. We're at 39.2% of business owners have a bachelor's degree or higher. Only 39.2%. That's from SBA, that's the Small Business Association.gov. So there's a lot of people that are coming out of high school, a lot of people dropouts, didn't finish college, that are making it happen and calling themselves an entrepreneur and still going over. They're just making it happen for themselves. Now this one is one I'm going to throw in there, but this one is a good one to note and understand and know what kind of hours and work ethic is it going to take to become an entrepreneur, to sustain your business. How much do entrepreneurs work per week? This is going to be great. How much do entrepreneurs work per week? A survey of 100 of entrepreneurs revealed 19% work 60 hours per week. Let's go on the other extreme. 19% work 60 hours per week. 5% work less than 30 hours per week. 5%. So if you think that you're going to be an entrepreneur to get away from your 9 to 5 because you hate working 60 hours a week, or you hate working 40 hours per week, you just hate working, you think you're going to become an entrepreneur and work less than 30 hours per week, you're going to be within that 5% bracket. And I'm sure that 5% bracket of those entrepreneurs have bought businesses that are doing well, that are already established, or they have established businesses and they're just sustaining and they're still working, at least. So 5% work less than 30 hours per week. We're at 14% work 30 to 39 hours per week, but the average here is 33% work 40 to 49 hours per week. So how many hours are in a week? If you know me, you know I love time. I like dividing that thing. It's 168 hours. So 40 to 49 hours, they're working more as an entrepreneur or as same as if they had a 9 to 5. So don't get it twisted about this entrepreneurial lifestyle. And if you're not ready to commit to those type of hours, to doing that type of work ethic, then, you're going to have to figure out, hey, maybe this is not for you. Maybe you need to continue getting your 2-week vacations and your 401k and having your comfortable life and punching in the clock, answering to your boss, or, setting up your goals for the year. I don't know. Maybe this is not for you because, hey, I'm telling you. And this last one, let me just do it because it's here and I'm seeing it before we go. What percentage of U.S. billionaires are self-made? Out of 585 U.S. billionaires, this 62% of them are self-made. I don't agree. I think everyone has, I know the difference between self-made, what they're talking about, versus, you using everyone's strengths and you meet someone else and they move you up. Really, no one's technically self-made. But for the idea of this stat right here, which is from WealthX 2016, 62% are self-made. So we're out here. We're living the life that we want to. We're creating these businesses. We're changing the world. 62% of us say, you know what? We got to go. We got to get up. We got to get out. We got to get it done. Comfort killing style, getting up and smashing the globe. That's what we're here to do. I hope this episode helps you out in making and determining what you need to do next to not be average, to live a comfort killer lifestyle, to go out there and create discipline, to go out there, get involved and you know what? Work. It just simplifies this, but it scared me to know that our attention span has dropped so much. So that's why I focus and pay attention to a lot of things a little longer than the average person, because I've consumed a little bit more knowledge, which I'm able to use in my field or in my industry or, even in my strategies, because I've just paid more attention. So finish that book. That's all I'm saying. So finish that book. So, invest time in yourself. So do things with the most intent and attention paid to it, and you are already sharper than 80% of the goddamn world. Guys, if you are in here, thank you for joining me there. And this has been another beautiful episode of the Stacy A. Cross Show. I've been dispensing beautiful, indestructible energy since 1981. And everything that you need is in the show notes. I want to thank you for listening. So go ahead and spread this out. You have my permission. And remember, guys, remain uncomfortable. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name.